All right, everybody, so today is the day. Today is the day that as a digital nomad, my internet connectivity situation is about to totally change. Today is the day I get to use Starlink. Starlink is a satellite internet system. It's Elon Musk's SpaceX has been launching satellites, and it's going to give people like me who want to be in remote and wild places like this, sitting on the edge of the world looking across at the Tetons, it's going to give me the ability to be in these beautiful places and still be productive and get my work done, which is very liberating for a full-time digital nomad. I do have a little bit of cell connectivity here. I could probably pull this off, but if I wanted to like upload a video or a bunch of still photographs, do something like that that's kind of internet heavy, it would be really tough. This is gonna be a game changer for me. Now, I don't see Starlink as the one solution for every situation. It's gonna work in remote places like this where there's not a lot of tree cover, it's relatively open, I have a good view of the sky. In places where there's maybe canyons, buildings, thick trees, probably a cell connection will still be better. So I'm going to be using a mixture of Starlink, found Wi-Fi, meaning the Wi-Fi that I find in the different places that I visit, and using my hotspot. And I think those combinations is going to give me the ability to work anywhere I want and really give me the freedom that I want as a traveler. I'm about to unbox my Starlink for the very first time, set it up, and let's see what happens and see what kind of speeds I get here in a remote spot in Wyoming. I'm excited to share with you guys today my very first time using my brand new Starlink. Starlink, yes. All right, let's open it up and see what we can do here. Looks like we have a really heavy-duty metal stand. It's got little holes in the corners, I assume, so you can put a tin stake through there and stake it out if you're in high winds. I'm gonna set this over here. Here's the Dishy. It's got a long cable, and this must be the router. Let's see, I'm gonna pull the Dishy out first. It's got a very long cord here. I have to read to see exactly how long this is, but it seems like a really good length. And then the power cord goes to the router. The router is kind of big for being in a van. I mean, it's not terribly big, but I would sure love to see it a little smaller. Looks like this plug goes right into the bottom. It's funny, it's got like weather sealing on it. I don't know if this is meant to be waterproof or not. I'll have to read up on that. I'm gonna keep this inside my van for now because that's where the power is. But there is very simple instructions printed right here on this piece of cardboard. That's one of the covers. Says I want to set this thing up just like I just actually did, and connect the power cord, and then go on to, looks like my phone app, and I set it all up from there. Pretty simple. All right, let's put this box out of the way. I'm going to keep the box for now. It's definitely a good thing to keep it in, to store it in. I have seen on YouTube there's some people who get, I think it's a Husky box. It's like a plastic Rubbermaid style box, and you can basically take the innards out of this, trim it back a little bit, and it makes a really nice storage case to haul your Dishy around in. I have ambitions of mounting this thing permanently on the roof of the van, because if you can notice, space is a premium. And the last thing I want is a big satellite dish taking up more space. Look for that in a future video. Okay, I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna plug this in, and it's gonna run off my lithium-ion batteries in my Revel van. Shouldn't draw that much power. I'm guessing I can run this thing almost indefinitely with the way that I use my power. But I'm gonna go plug it in and get it ready to then run the cord from the Dishy in the van. Okay, to put the Dishy on the stand, there is one little groove cut out in here, so it is a little bit directional, but it literally slides in the hole and clicks into place. All right, so now we want to put this in a place where it has a very clear view of the sky. It is not obstructed. The dish is going to orient itself on its own. So I'm going to try it right here. Now I do have a bunch of cord here. I'm going to run this cord through the driver's side door for right now, and that's where I have the router set up. Now I'm going to go into my phone. I'm going to open the Starlink app, and there is a place where you can then scan the sky. You basically stand in the place where you want to put your Dishy. You scan the sky, and it gives you a virtual reality version of if where you are is a good spot or not. It's going to detect obstructions. And here I just did that on mine, and I've got a couple of tree branches right over there, but otherwise it says it's great. Starlink actually tells you this is a great place for your Starlink. That's where I'm going to set it for now. And then it says here at the bottom, set up Starlink here. So I'm going to set it up. Open Wi-Fi settings. Let's see, so now it's launched the Wi-Fi settings on my phone, and it comes up as Starlink. It's asking me for a network name, so I'm going to name my Starlink. It'll ask you for a password as well. So enter that, and then I'm going to hit the create button. And let's see. Looks like I am logged in. All right, I'm going to hit join, and it is trying to connect right now. I'm connected. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go back to the Starlink app. So now the app, it says searching. It says it's offline and searching. So what I think is going to happen is going to take a couple of minutes for it to find the first sets of satellites and kind of initialize itself. And then hopefully we're up and running. I can't think of a better place to work. This sure beats anybody's office. So I plugged the router in. I went through the steps in the app to initialize it. It said offline, and then underneath it said searching. And I think it's just initializing, trying to find the satellites. Now it is a really cloudy day here today, and I honestly don't know how clouds affect Starlink. I'd assume like a clear day is better, but it took a few tries to get it to go online. And what I mean by that, I had a friend who just recently got his Starlink, and he told me when he was initializing his, he had to get it all set up, and then he would unplug it for 2 to 3 seconds, plug it back in. It would start over the initialization process. And he said he had to do that 3 times to get it to finally lock on and fully initialize and work. I did mine twice, and the second time it came on. I had to wait about 5 minutes of it saying searching and offline, and then all of a sudden, boom, it was on. So I just ran my first speed test. Now, Starlink has their own speed test that speed tests the internet from Dishy to, I guess, the satellites, and then Dishy to the router, and then the router to your phone. It gives you 3 different settings there. I wanted to keep it kind of consistent to what I've normally been using, and I use a speed test app off my phone or my computer, wherever I am. I'm always checking the speeds. But what I got now on my very first speed test, now this will vary a little bit, but I got 93 down and 7.96 up. That's a pretty good starting point for me. In fact, I'm going to hit the speed test one more time, and let's see what it comes up with the second time. Oh wow, this is going to be a lot more than the first one. And you know, it's going to be a learning process. I'm going to learn where this works best, where it doesn't work good. And but geez, so far I'm going to be very happy with the results, especially considering where I am. So it looks like my download speeds just came in at 139 megabytes per second, and my upload is 9 megabytes per second. That's very usable by my standards, you know. This is going to be futuristic for me, you know, having these kind of speeds in the places that I want to be. Let's do a third speed test. I'm going to hit go. I don't think this will be quite as high as the second speed test. Yeah, the download speed came in at 127, although upload seems to be much faster this time. My upload speed came in at 19.2. That is significantly faster than anything I'm used to in a remote area. Now, so there must be some variability with clouds, with where the satellites are in the sky. You know, you're still gonna have to have a little patience with this, but I'm excited. This is gonna be a wonderful, wonderful tool to add to our digital nomad kit of being able to work anywhere we wanna be. It has been now over a week since I got my Starlink. I've had the ability to test it, mostly around the Tetons. One thing I discovered when I first set it up and ran it through its paces that first night was it seemed a little slow to me, slower than what I was expecting, slower than what my friend's Starlink was when I used it in Utah. Discovered that there are still these regions where there isn't service, and it happened to be that I was in one of those bubbles where I was in the Tetons. And as I went on the Starlink map and I looked closer, it said expanded service 2023. So that made me feel a little bit better. I was in a place where it wasn't really supposed to have service, and when I put it in those parameters, I was actually getting great service. I was really happy with it. I was able to upload a video, I was able to watch YouTube and to do all the things that I needed to do just fine. It was a little slower on the upload speeds though, is where I was finding a little disappointment. So with that said, I've been taking notes. At the place in the Tetons where I felt like it was a little slow, I was still getting 49 megabytes per second down, 5.35 up. That was the part that was bumming me out a little bit. Still pretty awesome that I was in the middle of nowhere and I didn't have any other form of service, no cell. So now I've moved over here. I'm in kind of central Wyoming now, and I'm on the map. I am in the middle of a huge area that gets coverage. I just ran my speed check, and now I am getting 114.82 down and 18.19 up. That is great. That is really encouraging to me. I can do so much with that. I've also been in a few canyons where it was tighter and some more trees around, and it worked pretty good there too. Now, you obviously don't want to park under the shadiest grove of trees and expect this thing to work. I intentionally used this long cord, and I could stretch it out. I put it up on a little bank, and it worked beautifully. I'm finding that the Dishy itself is mostly facing in a northerly direction, and it tends to kind of orient itself and basically stay there. I haven't noticed it moving around a lot, but all in all, I am blown away. This has given me the last 3 nights specifically the ability to work from one place where I would not have service otherwise. Both of my 2 hotspots didn't have any service, and I would have basically been dark and having to drive in every morning, check email, check text messages, reply to work things, and then go back to the place that I really want to be. With the Starlink, I am in some beautiful places, and I don't worry about connectivity. It just works. Now, this is a game changer for me because I've spent the last 9 years traveling full time, working from the road. And now with the Starlink, I feel like I'm pretty set. Gosh, I'm going to be taking this over the course of the summer to a lot of different environments. I'm going to have it in the Pacific Northwest in the trees. I'm guessing that it's going to struggle there. But out here in, central Wyoming, where it's sagebrush and the occasional canyon, it's working great. This is going to be an amazing tool for anyone who's a digital nomad, wants to work from wild places. So this is a wonderful tool. If you're living and working on the road, I think this is almost something that you're going to have. It is really one of those disruptors that's going to really change what is possible and where now people like us can work. So I'm going to keep logging speeds at various places, and I'm testing it against my hotspot. I'm testing it against really a couple different hotspots, and And you know, a lot of times my hotspots work great, but this trip in particular, this last week, I've been really pushing it and trying to stay in places where I knew I would have problems with the hotspots and I wouldn't find cell coverage. And the Starlink has definitely filled the void. I want to thank you guys for watching. This is a quick video this week, but I am excited about this Starlink. I wanted to share the results of my first week with it with you and hopefully give you guys something to think about. In the future, I want to find a way to mount my Starlink onto the roof of my van. I want to be able to use it without this 5-10 minute setup period. So I'll keep you updated. There's some exciting things on the horizon, and this is just a part of living life out in the wild in beautiful places. Please leave any comments down below. I will reply to all of them. I will give you guys updates weeks from now, how it's going, what I'm finding. If I get enough findings, I'll make a new video sharing that with you. But this is an exciting new tool, and I hope if you guys have a need for it, you get a chance to play with one, because once I did, it sure sold me on it. Peter Holcombe signing out from middle of nowhere, Wyoming. Hope to see you somewhere over the horizon.